What happens after our final breath? It's not merely silence or nothingness. It's a profound journey filled with mystery, waiting for every person who has ever lived. This exploration is not just a nighttime thought or a quiet bedside discussion. It's a passage that has been cherished for ages, shared through stories and teachings for centuries. At the heart of this exploration is the incredible Bardo Thodol, or the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Unlike typical religious texts that might gather dust, this ancient guide is designed to be spoken aloud, resonating in the air as the soul stands between life and what comes next. Its words are not just for scholars or monks, but for the dying, for those who have just passed away, and for anyone whose spirit has just been liberated. Understanding the Bardo Thodol invites us to delve into our minds, not just the everyday mind, but a deeper layer of consciousness freed from our identities and memories. It speaks of realms invisible to the eyes, shaped by our thoughts, actions, emotions, and fears. In these bardos, transitional states of being, we awaken rather than walk. We perceive with our awareness instead of our eyes. This sacred text was birthed by the remarkable Padmasambhava, a figure whose name inspires awe across the Tibetan landscape. More than a teacher, he was a powerful force, a living embodiment of wisdom influencing even the divine. His arrival signified a transformative journey, guiding souls through life and into what follows death. Padmasambhava transcended the identities of monk or philosopher, embodying knowledge and strength. Originating from India, he brought insights that reshaped the spiritual landscape of Tibet. When he arrived, Buddhism began to find its place amid traditional beliefs. Rather than displacing these older practices, Padmasambhava embraced them, spoke their language, and wove them into a new spiritual journey. He founded the Sami Monastery, Tibet's first significant center of Buddhist learning. Yet his most enduring gift was the Bardo Thodol, not a guide for the physical body, but for the soul embarking on an unknown journey. Padmasambhava understood a profound truth. Death isn't merely an end. It's a doorway that shapes everything that follows. At the moment of death, our minds enter a unique state, liberated from physical limitations. In this bright, unfiltered moment, we have the opportunity for liberation. If the soul can recognize this pure essence of awareness, it can transcend rebirth and experience enlightenment like the dawn breaking in the sky. However, many are unprepared for this. They cling to memories and identities, feeling fear, not of death itself, but of what lies beyond. This fear leads them into confusion and illusion, trapping them in a cycle of existence that hinders their progress. This is why Padmasambhava created the Bardo Thodol, not as a strict rulebook, but as a guiding voice for those in transition. It offers gentle reminders amid uncertainty, helping souls navigate their journeys when everything else seems to fade away. This is more than a tale of ancient relics. It's a living story that echoes in our daily lives. If you pay close attention and look beyond your assumptions, you might just hear it calling to you. The wind whispers through the high passes of Tibet, where snow clings to the edges of ancient cliffs, and the sky stretches vast and unbroken above the earth. It is a land of resilience, not yielding easily to men, time, or even death itself. Here, in this raw and sacred place, the Bardo Thodol was born, not as a relic of the past, but as a living voice, carried forward through centuries like breath across still water. Padmasambhava walked these mountains, his presence a transformative force that reshaped the spiritual fabric of an entire people. He did not bring doctrine, he brought change. In Tibet, where Bon shamans invoked spirits beneath the stars and the air itself pulsed with unseen power, he wove Buddhist wisdom into the very soil of the land. He did not erase the existing beliefs. He honored them, absorbed them, and gave them new form. From this crucible of tradition and revelation emerged the Bardo Thodol, a guide not only for the living but for those who have crossed beyond the Aish veil. Not merely a prayer or a ritual, but a whisper into the ear of the dying, a reminder, a map, a final opportunity. To hold this text is to embrace something rare, not just knowledge, but direction. A way forward when all else has faded. For according to its teachings, death is not an end, but a doorway. The mind at the moment of passing enters a state unlike any other, an expanse of pure awareness, radiant and boundless. This is the Chikai Bardo, the first threshold beyond life. The moment when the body dissolves and consciousness stands bare before the primordial clear light. The Chikai Bardo is a profound awakening, a sudden, vast, and absolute state of being. When the body breathes its last, when the pulse stills and the eyes close to the world, consciousness does not disappear. It expands beautifully. In this moment, boundaries dissolve, and the senses fade away. The weight of flesh is no more, and the mind finds freedom without a heartbeat to anchor it. What remains is pure awareness, stripped bare, luminous, and unfiltered. This is the clear light, not just a metaphor but the essence of mind itself, radiant, unborn, untouched by death. For those who have prepared, who have dedicated lifetimes to peeling back the layers of illusion, this light feels familiar. It is not foreign or frightening. It is a glorious homecoming. In recognizing it, the soul does not embark on another journey. It concludes one. Liberation unfolds like dawn breaking across an untainted sky. There's no need for rebirth, no pull toward another life. In that fleeting instant, all karmic threads unravel, and all identities fade away. Only the truth remains. Yet for many, the experience takes a different turn. Imagine standing before the sun at its brightest, without shade, without protection. The mind, conditioned by fear, may recoil. The ego, though dissolved, leaves echoes, patterns that distort perception. Instead of recognizing the clear light as self, the soul sees it as something foreign, something overwhelming. Thus, instead of merging with it, the soul hesitates. This hesitation is not failure. It's the momentum of clinging to the familiar. From that turning begins the second passage, the Chonyid Bardo, the realm of visions. The Chonyid Bardo is not chaos, it is revelation. When the soul turns away from the clear light, consciousness does not vanish into darkness. It enters a realm of vivid and unfiltered visions. In this second Bardo, the mind becomes its own artist, sculpting landscapes shaped by memory, desire, and fear. There are no walls, no sky, no ground, only perception, raw and untamed. Peaceful visions arrive first, radiant figures of wisdom and compassion, luminous beings who extend hands and whisper invitations to return to the source. These figures are not conventional gods, but reflections of the soul's potential for clarity and peace. For those who have cultivated awareness in life, these figures may evoke familiarity and comfort. They present a final opportunity to recognize the nature of mind and break free from the cycle of rebirth. Yet, if recognition eludes, the visions intensify. Wrathful deities emerge, monstrous, fearsome forms with multiple arms, flaming halos, and gaping mouths. They scream, dance, and brandish weapons forged from karmic echoes. To the unprepared, they feel more real than the world ever was. But these are not demons sent to punish. They are the soul's unresolved fears taking shape. Anger, guilt, jealousy, and despair appear magnified beyond imagination. This is the test, not of belief or doctrine, but of understanding. Can the soul see through the illusion? Can it discern that what appears outside is merely a reflection of what remains inside? Those who do find liberation, while those who do not, are drawn deeper into the current by the gravity of their own attachments. And so, the journey continues. The Sidpa Bardo is the final threshold before return. After the luminous clarity of the Chikai Bardo, and the vivid illusions of the Chonyid Bardo, consciousness drifts into a dense current, an unseen tide pulling toward form once more. This is the Bardo of rebirth, where the soul, still tethered by unfulfilled desires and unresolved fears, begins its descent back into embodiment. In this final stage, the mind no longer floats in pure awareness or dances among visions. It begins to hunger for touch, for identity, for the familiar pull of existence. The longing to be born again is instinctive, like breath, like heartbeat, driven by karma, the invisible force shaped by every thought, action, and intention carried through lifetimes. The Bardo Thodol captures this moment with haunting precision. The soul sees images of union, two beings entwined in embrace, a symbol of creation itself. These are not mere hallucinations, they are signals, magnetic invitations calling the soul toward its next vessel. The path it takes depends on the nature of its attachments. If fear dominates, the soul may be drawn into suffering. If desire remains unchecked, it may find itself in cycles of repetition. Greed, hatred, confusion, all leave imprints, guiding the soul toward rebirth in conditions that mirror its inner state. Yet even here, a final chance awaits. Those who have trained their minds in life, who have learned to observe without clinging, to feel without grasping, can recognize these signs for what they are. They can pause. They can choose. Not from desperation, but with clarity. In that clarity lies the possibility of turning away one last time, of dissolving into the clear light instead of stepping into another life. This is the ultimate teaching of the Bardos. Liberation is always within reach. It is only missed. The Bardo Thodol serves as a profound mirror for the living, guiding us beyond the confines of death. Every soul's journey through its Bardos is not made in blindness. The path, through the clear light, through visions, through the pull of rebirth, is crafted long before the last breath. What we take into death isn't our possessions or beliefs, but the essence of who we are, stripped of bodily distractions and the masks we don in life. This is why the text resonates not only with the dying, but with those who still tread the earth. Liberation at death is not bestowed by rituals or divine grace. It is earned through awareness nurtured during life, by recognizing the mind's true nature, not as ego, not as identity, but as pure, radiant consciousness. Preparing for death is not an exercise in fear. It is a practice of letting go, loosening attachment, unveiling the illusions that shape our reality. It calls us to meditate on impermanence, to interrogate our sense of self repeatedly. What is this self I cling to? Is it real, or simply a habit reinforced by thought? Those who have honed their minds to rest in awareness, free from grasping and aversion, enter the Bardos as familiar travelers. They embrace the clear light, having encountered it in moments of deep silence and insight. They confront the wrathful deities, having faced their own shadows in life. When the final choice appears, the door to liberation, or the pull toward rebirth, they act without hesitation. They understand. But what if you are not ready? What if you feel the weight of attachments, echoes of past regrets, the yearning for more time? Then the Bardos will invite you back into form, into another life, another opportunity. Because death is not an ending. It is a question echoed through lifetimes. Who are you when nothing remains? The Bardo Thodol transcends mere intellectual understanding. It urges us to feel, live, and most importantly, remember. In life's final moments, as the body weakens and the senses fade, there is no room for study or debate, only the essence of the mind facing itself in its purest form. This text was crafted not just for monks in secluded monasteries or scholars deciphering ancient texts, but to be shared beside those who are dying, whispered gently into their ears as they cross the threshold, a guide carried forth by breath, voice, and love. Even now, across time and geography, it resonates with those at death's door and with all who seek deeper meaning in life. It speaks to the curious about what lies beneath identity's mask, beyond the illusion of permanence. Liberation does not depend on ideal circumstances. It awaits recognition. To perceive the clear light is not to receive a reward, but to reclaim something forgotten, not through effort, but through surrender. Awareness transcends the confines of flesh. Consciousness does not begin at birth nor end at death, yet most fail to recognize this reality. Many shy away from the vastness, holding on to memory, habit, and the familiar contours of self. Consequently, they cycle back, not punished or judged, but drawn forward by the weight of their own unaddressed shadows. Even this is not failure, for every soul that returns brings with it something transformative, a seed nestled in the essence of being, a shift in perception that quietly endures beyond the veil. And one day, when the moment arises again, they may choose not to turn away. There is a moment, just before dawn, when the world holds its breath. The wind stills, the stars dim, and for a fleeting instant, everything is poised on the edge of becoming. This moment is not just a description of mourning, it reflects what lies beyond death, a threshold where all possibilities exist, and only awareness determines what comes next. The Bardo Thodol does not promise salvation, nor does it offer heaven or damnation. Instead, it provides something far more profound: understanding. It offers a chance to see through the veil, not with fear but with clarity, to recognize that consciousness does not begin at birth or end at death. It simply shifts form, like water turning to mist, then back again. This text speaks not only to those standing at death's door, but to every soul who has ever questioned the nature of existence. In truth, we are always in transition. Every moment is a bardo, an in-between state. Every breath is a crossing from one reality to another. To live fully is to prepare for death, not by fearing it, but by embracing each second as if it were the only one that matters. By learning to let go, even while still breathing. By seeing through illusion, not just in dreams, but in waking life. And when the final breath comes, when the body dissolves and the mind stands bare before the clear light, those who have prepared will not turn away. They will step forward, not into darkness, but into awakening. Thank you for listening.